The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watching for the Eagles Sports Network as the Eagles get set for a 3-game series against Lenoir-Rhyne. And coach, first and foremost, we've talked about it a little bit over the last couple weeks. Typically, you like to talk about how you're just playing against the baseball. You don't make a whole lot of changes, but you have in terms of the way that you've pitched it of late. You've gone to more of a bullpen setting, a little unconventional, and getting every single guy some work, and it's been scripted out. How much do you think that that's changed your pitchers' mentalities, knowing that now they go out there, they have their inning of work, maybe 2 innings of work, and that's all they have to worry about?
It hasn't hurt, and I think for the young man himself, it's a nice feeling knowing when I go to the park, when am I pitching? So I think that definitely has to help the mentality, no question about it. And obviously we've had some success, but not as that's not a cure-all. We know that you have to have 7, 8 guys have to have good days. So we know that could stop at any time, but that can happen with a starter as well. But we do think it helps their mentality.
It's a 6-game winning streak. Sometimes in college basketball, you talk about how a team works so hard just to get back into a game. You've worked so hard to get back to 500 now on the year. How do you make sure that all the effort that you've put in doesn't just fizzle out here at 16-16? You're able to continue to ride this hot wave.
There's nothing to do. You take it one day at a time and just make sure that, at this point that your kids are healthy, mentally and physically, and the fact is that the process that you've had up to this point, you just keep going and you stay with your routines, but you got to communicate with your players right now. Some guys, we got a couple guys that look like might be getting some sort of cold or flu or sinus infection. You got some guys with some hamstring injuries and things like that. So I think right now it's kind of like, all right, you got to talk to them and like, where are your bodies right now? Weight room, what do we need? How do you feel about weight room or doing it on the field? So you got to communicate with them, kind of see where they're at, what they want to do, because again, they've been in this a long time and they're the ones that have to play. I don't have to play. Mm-hmm. So we've got to figure out what's it going to take for you to be prepared to play that next day, and so we got to communicate with them.
It's an LR team that at one point this year looked like they were going to be one of the contenders for the league. Well, they check in this weekend at 4-8 in conference play. Probably a little desperate to get back on track. You got a hungry team coming in here. What do you expect from the Bears?
Well, I didn't know their record, and I'll be quite honest with you. 3 weeks ago, I stopped looking at the any scores and looking at anything. So until you told me that, I only knew our record. So we're not worrying about anybody because there's nothing we can do about that. And a lot of times, as an Irish-Italian guy, you sit there and worry about everything. And so I've tried to. One of the things in my growth as a coach is I can't control what other people do, and so what I've got to do is just worry about what our team does. And how we prepare as a staff to get these kids ready and, again, communicate with them. So, from what we see, obviously they got some good arms because we're getting calls from scouts on are we playing tomorrow so they can come see and play. And Tom Fleenor is, he's a Tennessee Wesleyan grad, and everywhere he's been, he's had success. So knowing him, they're going to be prepared fundamentally and mentally. That's no question. I think that goes without question. That's what's going to happen. So again, Michael, we just got to do what we can do, play to our best of our ability, control our emotions, play against the baseball, and then we'll see what happens. It's all we can do.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
He's Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin. I'm Michael Watching for the Eagles Sports Network.